everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Julia, and on this channel we love to talk about perfume and fragrances. I do fragrances about men's and women's perfumes. So if you haven't already, please subscribe, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Today we're going to be talking about great fall fragrances for men. A few of you actually requested that I do some more videos regarding men's fragrance, so that's what I'm doing today. Some of these fragrances, I actually wear them too. That doesn't mean that they're feminine, but I'm of the school of thought that you should just wear whatever you like, and I love wearing men's fragrances, and I wish that men would be a little bit more brave, I guess, to wander into the women's fragrance aisle. So I will be doing another video that's going to be talking about great fall fragrances for women. So if those men who are watching this video, maybe check that video out and consider trying some fragrances for women, because there's absolutely nothing wrong with wearing, you know, a fragrance that's like marketed towards a specific gender. Don't hesitate, you guys. Like, seriously, just brave it. Go into the women's section and shop around for yourself, because ever since I started buying men's fragrances, like, I have like this whole new world of fragrances has opened up to me. So I wear both women's and men's scents. Dolce & Gabbana, the one. This is the Eau de Parfum, and this is just the quintessential perfect fall scent. I actually purchased this for my husband. This is a really big bottle. I think this is 150 milliliters, which is 5 fluid ounces. This is a beautiful tobacco amber, slightly citrus scent as well. I mean, it's not super citrusy, but it does have a grapefruit opening. And then you smell these beautiful spices. There is cardamom in here, and I think coriander seed. And there's also ginger in here, which makes it a little bit spicy, because if you ever have tried ginger, you know, it has that little bit of a sharp, spicy note. This is great for date night as well. Oh, it's like fresh, because the grapefruit gives it that fresh opening, but then you get this beautiful tobacco. It's a little bit sweet, but it's not super sweet. I do have one more in this collection that's more sweet. I guess it's the sweetness of the tobacco, and then you get this beautiful amber, and you get this woodsy note as well in the base, and these beautiful spices with the cardamom and the ginger and the coriander. So I absolutely love this fragrance. A crowd pleaser for sure. I think you could in the fall time wear this also during the day. I don't think it's really only for nighttime. Next up, we have this one by Mugler, and this is Amen Pure Havane. This is a flanker of the Amen range. It's quite sweet because this is mainly a honey and tobacco fragrance. There is patchouli in here as well. So it smells very honey-like. So you have to enjoy sweet fragrances to like this. It's like a very sweet honey and a sweet sort of almost cherry tobacco vibe. It's almost as if I can smell cherries, but I know there's not a cherry note in here. It's more just like a really sweet tobacco. There is actually also, I think, a quite prominent patchouli note in here. There's also cacao in here and vanilla. If you like this fragrance, you should try the women's Mugler Angel Muse. The Angel Muse and this one, I think, are like brother and sister. This is the slightly more masculine version, and the Angel Muse by Mugler is the slightly more feminine, but I honestly don't feel like there is a huge difference between those two fragrances. The only thing is that this one has more of a honey tobacco note, and the other one is more like cacao, but it also has that patchouli note in here. I think this is just super cozy. I think this would be great for, you know, snuggling up by the fire with your hot date, or I don't know, going away to a snowy lodge for the weekend, or like the cabin in the forest or something like that. Like a camping weekend, even maybe in the winter time or fall time. Next, we have Azzaro Wanted by Night. This is a flanker to the original Wanted release by Azzaro. I love this, a tobacco fragrance. So I know I've mentioned this is like the third tobacco fragrance in this list, but they're all so different, like I said, and I feel like this one is very different than the other two, because this one is a lot more fresher and almost fruity. There are some fruit notes in here, and there are a few different citrus elements in here, which makes this a lot sort of fresher and brighter. I think this would be a really great transitional scent, like going from summer into fall, because it does have those fruit elements and the citrus. There is also lavender in here. There's a lemon note and a mandarin orange note. And what I also really love about this one is that it has this gorgeous gorgeous cinnamon note that is very prominent. And it reminds me a little bit of like a spiced mulled wine. When I make mulled wine in the fall and winter, I put in cinnamon and I put in orange rind into the wine when I'm cooking it, but it has that freshness, like I said, from the lemon, and the lavender gives it a little bit of an aromatic vibe as well. So the tobacco in here, yes, you can smell it, but it's definitely not as heavy as the Dolce & Gabbana and the Mugler. I feel like this is a lighter, fresher version, and it's so sexy. I think this is such a sexy, beautiful, like still manly, but almost like a fun fall fragrance. I feel like this has very good sillage and very good projection. It lasts a really long time. The dry down smells a little bit more like the original Wanted. So if you have that, it kind of smells just a little bit more like that. Next up, we have this one by Serge Lutens, and this is Ambre Sultan, so the Amber Sultan. Now I have the refillable travel size. The regular bottle looks a bit different. I have the one that it has a few of these and you just refill it. I think these are perfect actually because it'll take me quite a while to use this up, and I love being able to take this with me. Just an absolutely stunning amber fragrance, and it has a lot of other notes in it that makes it a little bit more interesting. I think this is an absolute masterpiece by the House of Serge Lutens. I think this is one of his most famous and definitely one of his most recognizable and most popular fragrance. I don't know if it's the most popular, but I think it's one of his best, to be honest, from the range. This is like a really spicy, interesting, very resinous amber, that bay leaf note in here, which I think you can definitely smell if you've ever cooked. Like I love cooking and I have bay leaves, you know, in my pantry, and I do like cooking with them, so I can smell that in here. The amber and the resins are so stunning. This is just the coziest fall scent. The quality of this fragrance is out of this world. The lasting power is amazing. The sillage is very good. People will be able to smell this on you. It's just such a comforting scent in fall. I love wearing this with like a cozy wool sweater or like a woolen shawl. I think this is more geared towards men. I think it's totally unisex, but it's so warm and rich and cozy. This is, to me, my favorite amber that I have. Timeless, a little bit spicy, or just a little bit more exotic, I guess, with some of those interesting notes like the bay leaf and the oregano, but the resins really make this. And then the sandalwood also adds something special. I definitely smell a little bit like a woodsiness to this. I think it's absolutely spectacular. All right, one I wanted to talk about that I don't have currently in my collection, but I love this fragrance on men, and that is La Nuit de l'Homme by Yves Saint Laurent. It's a gorgeous, spicy, slightly fresh smelling fragrance that I think is perfect for fall. Slightly spicy because it has the cardamom and the cumin, which gives it a little bit of just an interesting fall type of flavor, but you have the freshness with the bergamot and the lavender, which I think makes it a little bit aromatic and fresh. But then you have this gorgeous vetiver base with the cedar wood. I think this is just a beautiful, timeless fragrance. I love smelling this on men. I definitely prefer this one to L'Homme, just the original L'Homme. A perfect blend of spicy notes, rich notes, and then sort of fresher notes. This is a good one as, again, a transitional scent going from summer to winter because it's not super dark and heavy like oud and leather and tobacco and stuff. A little bit of lightness, that freshness that kind of transitions you from summer into fall. So this would be nice on sort of warmer fall days. I think this is a great all time around scent. I think it's definitely, you can wear it in the daytime as well. Just a crowd pleaser. I know women really enjoy this scent as well on men. So this is one that you can definitely wear on date night as well. Okay, so now we're gonna go into a little bit more of the more challenging fragrances. I personally love challenging fragrances. This is one that I absolutely love wearing more in the winter time, but on a cold fall day. Oh, this is Leather Oud by Christian Dior from the Private Collection. Unfortunately, I have the newer formulation of it. I remember actually smelling this when they initially launched. I smelled them at an airport duty free, and I had just like, I think this was actually the first oud fragrance that I had ever smelled. It's a pretty extreme one. I remember putting quite a bit on. So my poor like seat neighbor on that airplane, because I had no idea what I was putting on here. I was like, it smells good, let's do it. And I did a bunch. The old one had a lot more of a civet note. So this is a leather oud combination, but there is also this smoky resinous touch to to it. And there is a civet note, although it has been reformulated apparently. So I feel like the new one, which is this one, doesn't have as strong of a civet note as it used to. I'm not even sure if civet is really still part of it. I've kind of heard mixed information. I feel like there is still an animalic, a very strong animalic note to it, but it's nowhere near as strong as it used to be. And I really wish that I had purchased it back then when I had the original one, because it was very civet heavy. So civet is a very strong animalic note. It's now more of like a leathery, oudy fragrance with a lot of smoky touches to it, almost campfire feeling. I feel like that's more how it's going now. It's less going into the civet animalic note. It's more like leather, a slightly animalic leather with this oud to it that has, the oud has a little bit of an animalic touch to it. And then there's a lot of smoke in here. I'm a little bit sad that they did reformulate this because I absolutely loved that civet note, but I know a lot of people don't like that fragrance because of it. So it just depends. If you get the newer version, it's a little bit of a tamer version than the original leather oud. If anyone has an old bottle that they want to sell or they don't wear it, please get in touch because I would love to buy that from you. Like, I'm serious. Please contact me. Just putting that out in the universe. Oh, I absolutely love this. Like, I know this is a polarizing scent for some, but I honestly don't feel like it's that challenging anymore. This is definitely wearable. I mean, it's maybe not daytime office appropriate, but evening time, you know, going out for drinks, maybe after work, going out to a cigar lounge. It almost has this dark charcoal campfire type of vibe to it now. A powerhouse fragrance that I think it's the best one, or one of the best ones from the Christian Dior private line. This one is actually by Montal Paris, and this is Oud Cuir d'Arabie Eau de Parfum. So the main notes in here are oud, leather, birch tar, and tobacco. This is supposed to be like an animalic leather fragrance. Honestly, I blind bought this. So this is kind of a risk. This was a very risky blind buy because a lot of people say that this is very, very animalic. It almost has like the super barnyardy smell. And I do agree it is somewhat animalic. I don't think it is as pungent as some of the reviews make it out to be. It's a very, very dry, super dry leather, a leather handbag that you purchased at a market in Marrakesh. So if you've ever been to like a country in the Maghreb region or in the Middle East or something, and you go to a market where they sell leather goods, the leather there smells very different than the leather you would buy here in a store in Europe or in North America. They're usually coming directly from a tannery where they use these really strong like chemicals, and they use like pigeon poop and like, I don't even know, they use like, I know they use a lot of animal feces, I think, to create these leathers, to like do the tannery of the hides. So the leathers there have this very pungent smell. This kind of reminds me of that, although I don't feel like this is super, super animalic. Maybe my tolerance of animalicness has gone up because I do like animalic scents, but this is just a super dry leather. Leather is the main note in here. I do get a little bit of tobacco, but I wouldn't really categorize this as a tobacco fragrance like the other ones that I mentioned. The tobacco note is way more noticeable. I know there are some fragrances that it really smells like poop. So I don't feel like that's how this smells. It just smells like a leather from a foreign country, maybe that you've brought back home. Very, very dry. There's no sweet elements in here. There's nothing fruity. There's no citrus. There's no lavender. There's none of these other supporting notes to kind of make it a bit smoother. So I feel like it's a leather that's a little bit rougher around the edges. I think this is a great fall scent. You know, cold days, going into winter. I love this. Super long lasting. The Montals are very long lasting fragrances. I really hope you've enjoyed my picks. If you haven't already, please make sure to subscribe to my channel if you haven't, and give this video a thumbs up. And if you're a man watching this, let me know what other videos you want me to do regarding men's fragrance. So thanks so much for watching, guys, and I will see you very soon. Bye.